Hopefully we've been through the fact that you have made yourself your own template, your DWT, and then you've opened that template, renamed it concrete pile as a DWG, and so now you're ready to start drawing, and this is what your screen should basically look like. And there's the paper space that we talked about earlier. So yeah, let's take a little look at the handout that you've got and start by trying to draw this pile foundation in plan. Nice and easy. We're going to come up to the left here and we're going to select the line tool, and that creates straight lines. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click once, and you can see that you can pull that line basically, any way you want. If you come down to the bottom of the screen here and toggle on this little symbol at the bottom, this little right angle one, so it turns blue, you'll notice now that your line only pulls at 90 degrees, so it will only pull totally vertical or totally horizontal, and that's what we want to do. If you're drawing nice straight lines, you want it to be totally at a right angle. So you've turned that on, and you pull the line out in the direction you want it to go, and then you type in the dimension, the length that you want that line to be. So in this case you can see that we want it to be 600 mil if you look at your handout. Yeah? And then if you scroll in there, so we're closer to the line, if you then pull down in the direction you want the next line to go, obviously we want it to go straight down, and type in 600 mil again, and then pull the line to the left, 600 mil again, and then pull the line up and it's 600 mil again, and then press escape to let AutoCAD know that you are finished drawing lines, and you've got a basic square there, at 600 mil each side, and that's basically what our pile is going to look like from a plan view. And so now, thinking about drawing the pile in elevation, if we use the same technique, we're going to go up here to the left and select the line tool, click once, and then we're going to click once to specify the start of the line, and then we're going to pull out our mouse out to the right and type in the dimension following the handout there, and you can see that it's 600 mil. Type in 600 and hit enter. Pull the mouse down and notice now that we've got a different dimension of 300 mil. So 300, hit enter. Pull the mouse to the left and it's 600 mil. Enter. Pull the mouse up, 300 mil again to bring that line back to where we started. And then it's important that you hit escape now to let AutoCAD know that you're done drawing. And so now we're going to draw that. We need to draw that sort of long cylindrical bit of the pile, because what we've just drawn there is the pile cap. And so we're going to pull, using the line tool, pull our line out 200 mil to follow the width of that part of the pile, 200, and then down, obviously it's much longer, it's 6,000 mil or 6 meters, yeah, 6,000 mil, hit enter. Pull back across 200 mil, enter, and then 6,000 to close that rectangle up, and hit escape again. And so what you need to do now is, obviously we want to pull that long part of the pile over to the pile cap. So what you need to do is click once and pull this green box over every part of that part of the pile, and you'll see that it's all highlighted. Okay? And what you want to do is you want to use the move tool now. Now, if I try moving that now, I come up here and I click on the move tool and I select where I want to move it from. So I want to move it from there to there, and click again, and it moves the whole thing that way. Okay? So again, you want to select the whole part of that pile, select the move tool, click where you want to move it from to where you want to move it to. Now notice that because I have that little icon on at the bottom, the ortho mode it's called, toggled on, it's only going to move it in right angles, so I can only move it very straight that way or up vertically. It won't let me move anywhere in between. But if I turn that little icon off, I can now move my shape anywhere that I want. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it, and I'm going to turn on another icon now. It's called the snap icon, and I'm going to switch that on, and I'll show you what that does. If you zoom into the top of your pile and select move, you should see that little green sort of shapes come up when you place your cursor in certain places, and that means that little triangle signifies that you're selecting the very center of that line. So if you go ahead and click, and likewise when you move it over to your new shape, it will come up, the little triangle will come up on the new shape, and if you click, it will match them to the center. So look, we've got our pile there in plan and elevation, and that's about as much as we're going to draw in model space now. So we're going to switch over to paper space. So if you click down on this little tab down here where it says sheet 1, and that will open paper space. And the first thing we're going to do is make sure we address the title block. So we're going to alter some of this text. You've got a lot of the text there already, and you've got these little X's in places where there's I've given you an option to fill out the text there. So if we think of the project name, if you look at all those X's there and you put your cursor over the top so they highlight, and then double click, just like a Word document, you'll be able to delete that and start typing the new text. So we could go for concrete pile, hit return, plan and elevation, and then click somewhere outside the text. And so we've named the drawing now, and you could do the same for the date. So put today's date, just like you would in a regular Word document. Click outside the text, and so that's set now. And so we've named the drawing now. And so what you want to notice now is this box in the middle. This is called a viewport, and this will view our what we've built in model space. It will view into that. So if you click inside it somewhere and then scroll out on your wheel and then scroll back in, you'll see our little drawing there. Yeah, you'll see our plan drawing and our elevation drawing, and so you can set that to whatever size you want. But really what you want to do now is come down to the bottom of the screen here and select a scale. So you actually want to set this to a specific scale. If you click there where all these numbers are, AutoCAD will give you some options for scale. So if I was to select 1 to 100, then there's my drawing exactly 100 times smaller than it is in reality. And likewise, if I was to draw it at 1 to 50, it's 50 times smaller than it would be in reality. So because this part of the drawing is quite small, we're going to want to select a scale that shows it quite large on a piece of paper. So for the plan view, why don't we select something like 1 to 10? So there it is at 10 times the size it is in reality. And if you double click outside the viewport, it will exit viewport mode and you're back to paper space. And what you could do is you could bring the viewport sort of around like that. Okay, so there's you looking at your plan view, and I suppose the next thing to do would be to label that. So if you come down to some of this text here, we could copy some of this text over, because that's what you can do in AutoCAD. You use things that are already there and copy them. So if you click on that bit of text that says concrete pile, plan and elevation, and then come up to this little icon here, which is the copy icon, select copy, and then it's asking you where you want to copy it from. So we want to copy it from here, and we want to copy it to over here. So click once, and it would give you the option to keep clicking if you wanted to, but just press escape to stop that from happening. Let's move that text a little bit. Like we did already with the move tool, you can select the text and come and use the move tool, move from to over here, or you can also select something and hover over the little blue square there, click it once, and then you can move it to wherever you like. So let's edit this text so that it says plan view, and then click out. And you'll notice that the problem with that at the moment is it's a little bit small, that writing, so we want to make it a little bit bigger. So we click it once, right click, properties, text height, come down to, and set that to maybe 10, and hit enter. Okay, so that's about the right size. And what we want to do now is show the pile obviously in elevation. So we're showing it in plan there. So what you want to do first of all is you want to select your viewport, the outside sort of square that you can see there. Select that and then come up to the copy icon. Click copy, where you want to copy from and where you want to copy to. So copy it to over there, and then hit escape to exit copy mode. And if you double click in the viewport and then use your middle wheel button, obviously click down to pan and pull the drawing into view, you'll see that we've got it in elevation there. Double click out the viewport. Now we've got the problem of trying to fit it on the page. So if you select the viewport, come up and select the move tool, move from here to there, select the viewport again and pull the viewport down so that we can get as much of our image on our paper as possible. You'll notice that it's still not all going to fit on there, so we're going to have to change the scale of this one so that it fits on our paper. So if you double click inside that viewport and come down to your scale at the bottom, click and select a scale of 1/30, you'll see that the entire thing now actually fits on our page like that. And so we can take this text, select it, copy, bring it over to here. Let's bring our viewports down so that it's just around the shape, not the text as well. Double click and change that to elevation. And click outside the text, okay? And if I move my viewport and the text plan view, select both of them, move tool and move that to, say, over here, and press escape. And so you'll notice now that you can, it's a little bit confusing because the actual line of the viewport sort of looks the same as the drawing. So what we want to do is change the color of our viewport to white so that it can't be seen. So if you select that viewport and then select that viewport, so they're both highlighted, and you go to properties and you go to that little color wheel and you come down to this white sort of color just underneath gray and click, that now makes our viewport box the same color as the paper, so it can't be seen. Pull that text up a little bit there, press escape. And so we're really starting to get there now. Obviously you'll notice the other thing that we need to do is just make a note of what scale we used. So if you select that text, copy icon, copy from, copy to, press escape and edit that to 1 to 10. To let people know that that drawing, part of the drawing, is at 1 to 10. Select that text, copy from, copy to, edit that so that it says 1 to 30. That lets anyone looking at the drawing know that this elevation is at a scale of 1 to 30. This plan view is at a scale of 1 to 10. And so the next thing to do, you'll notice obviously from the handout, is to add some dimensions so that anyone looking at the drawing knows the sizes of these things in reality. And so for that we use the dimension tool, linear dimension tool. So if you select that there, click it once, and then turn on that little toggle again, that snap toggle. Make sure that's on for now, because then you can make sure you're pulling the dimension from one corner to the other. So click on that one corner, click on that corner, pull up, click to where you want it to be, and there you've got a dimension. And just for clarity's sake, we could turn that red. So click your dimension, properties, color wheel, turn it red so that it's obvious that it's a dimension. And then you're going to use that same process for all the other sides. Our drawing is almost pretty much finished. Make sure you keep saving your work as you go. So click that little icon up there for save. And it's almost done now. Just come down and change this scale text to represent the scales that we've selected in the drawing. So if you double click in there on that text, get rid of those X's and change it to 10 and 30, because we selected one part of that drawing to be 1 to 10 and the other one is 1 to 30. Click outside the text. Now you're done now, and so what we want to do is save that piece of paper, this drawing, the way it looks, as a PDF so that it can be printed and emailed and sent somewhere. So what we want to do is come to this plot tool up here. It's called plot. It looks like a printer. Click that once and you'll be presented with this, and you'll see that hopefully this printer plotter should be set at DWG to PDF, should be set to ISO full bleed A3. If you just do a preview to check print preview to see what it's going to look like. Okay, so it looks good. Click the little close window there, click OK, and then select wherever you want to save it. So let's save it there. Click save. In that case I've got one already called that, but I do want to overwrite it, and that will save that drawing as a PDF, which could now be printed or emailed to someone or whatever. So that's the first sort of tutorial over with, and that's your first CAD drawing done. So let's do another one.